Hello friends, Michael Steps here. Today we're going to be going over the Brothers Wars set review for Blue. I'm joined by Torus, I believe is your handle online. How's it going?
Not bad. How you doing?
Good, good. So we're going to be going over the flagship, uncommons, then we're going to go commons, uncommons, rares, mythics. So start us off with Battery Bearer, 2 generic, green, blue, human artificer. Creatures you control have tap, add colorless mana to your mana pool. This mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. And whenever you cast an artifact spell with mana value 6 or greater, draw a card. What do you think of this?
I love it. I think it's probably not as good as it looks,
Not as
but
good
it
as it
could do
looks?
could do busted things.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play two creatures and then you play this, which is a 3/4, which is a good stat line, you have 7 mana when you untap. That's 7 to 8 mana. You're casting all of your prototypes on curve, all of your 8 or 9 drops. 8 drops on curve,
Mm-hmm.
which is really good. But the downside is if you don't have this, your deck is doing nothing.
Like, it's just super
Which is
clunky. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not sure how good green blue is going to be. It doesn't seem like the most natural color combination.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, but like the payoff is there, and like the effect is so strong that
Yeah.
when it works, it will win you the game
It's like
roughly on the
overpowering.
spot.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
if
like
they
if you
untap
untap
with
with this,
this, yeah, you're dead.
cast a 6 to 9 drop and draw a card, which
So,
gets you to another one.
So is this like a 4.5 in the right deck and kind of like a 3 in others? Is that what we'd give it as a rating, or what do you think?
Uh, a 3. I mean, I guess it's a 3/4 for 4, which is seems to be a good stat line
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
set.
it's very
The
medium.
more that I look at it,
Yeah.
like there isn't a lot of 4/4s for 4 that would just punish this, and there is a lot of like
Wait till we get to green.
3. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of 3 power stuff that this stops. So that's
yeah,
it's good enough. It's I will try and make this a deck. I'm skeptical blue green is the best deck, but it is probably the best card in the blue green deck.
fair enough. As a signpost uncommon should be. Moving on
Yeah.
to Evangel of Synthesis, blue, black, Phyrexian human cleric. When this enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. As long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, Evangel of Synthesis gets +1/+0 and has menace, and it's a 2/3. Pretty, pretty good, right? Like,
I mean, you can't go wrong.
yeah,
There's a
like,
lot of things.
there's a lot going on here.
2/3 for 2, which is my favorite stat line. Just
It's,
stops everything.
yeah, it's pretty good. It can attack, it can block exceptionally well. Getting menace is fantastic.
Probably the best way to feed Unearth.
Yeah,
Although I don't know if there's a ton of Unearth and blue black as a combo.
well, we're gonna find out today.
Activates itself, which is weird, but activates all of
Yeah,
the
it's kind of funny because it doesn't have haste, right? So it's just like, I have menace.
yeah, but it activates all of the other. Blue black has the draw
Yeah.
2 theme this time around.
How much
So the
time do you think is going to be wasted, net total, in all of humanity, based off of this trigger happening while this doesn't have haste?
it's not a trigger; it's a static effect. So
Oh, it's static?
prob-
Oh, never mind.
probably 0 times.
Probably 0.
You just gotta, and then 3/3
Outplayed.
menace is great. Like menace is very relevant,
Mm-hmm.
very strong. Uh, so and it'll race well. It does everything that blue black does. It's not like broken like the other stuff. It's like it's fair.
Yeah, it's like very fair plot. It's unfair at being fair, is probably
Yeah,
how I
like
describe it.
battery barriers it will do things that are unfair,
Obscene shit. Yeah.
but it's not necessarily better than just how solid this card is.
All right. So what are we thinking? 3.5, 3?
Yeah, 3.5. Like, I don't know if it draws me into being blue black is the thing. Like, if I first pick a battery bearer, like I'm jamming
Yeah, like you're
that
trying.
archetype. But like this is something I want to pick second or third. I don't want to commit to blue black that fast.
Hmm.
But if I'm already if my first pick was a blue or black card, then I'll be very happy taking this.
Alrighty. Moving on to Third Path Iconoclast. Blue, red, human monk. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. And it's a 2/1. So very similar to Young Pyromancer. How
Which
are you feeling about this?
is better than Young Pyromancer.
Well, two colors, right? That's kind of big.
Yeah, I mean hitting off of non-creatures is.
Hmm?
Wait, does non is Young Pyromancer instants and sorceries?
Instants and sorceries, but it has a better creature type, right? Because wizards actually check for things. Monk is an
This
irrelevant
makes
creature type.
artifacts.
This makes artifacts soldier, colorless soldier artifacts, which, that way more relevant.
Yeah, soldier will only really come up in with some
The
rares, I think.
splash, yeah. If you're splashing
Uh,
white or
I guess there's
um,
like a common that gives soldiers flying or something in blue, but for the
mm-hmm,
most part, the soldier theme is white.
yeah,
That's that. I mean, like this card. This card will defines blue red prowess. It's gonna be. It's like Dominaria United had the blue red. When you cast a non-creature spell, get +1/+0 and trample to all your creatures. This is probably close in power level. Sometimes worse, sometimes better.
yeah,
Probably worse, but that doesn't really matter. If your blue right or if your blue red prowess deck is going off, this is going to be a key component. Very
yeah.
good card. And then,
So 3.54 roughly in there.
sure. And then you'll still play it like in every blue red deck anyway. So
Yeah, like at
you
the very
you
worst,
only need
it's a
two
piker.
triggers. Well, that's bad. Let's not call pikers good anymore.
Well, they're playable sometimes.
Sometimes, but it's
I'd
good.
play it than a squire. And that's what
This
Paratrooper
this
looks like sometimes, so
this drives me more towards blue red than Evangel of Synthesis drives me towards blue black.
yeah.
I'll say that.
Alrighty. And lastly, Yodian Tactician. We talked about this in the white review, so we'll just be real quick. It's
It
a
is better as a white card than a blue card. I'll say that.
yeah, for sure. Two generic, white, blue, human soldier, 3/4. Other soldiers you control get +1/+1. Probably not as great in blue, right? Because it's way lighter on soldier synergies and payoffs, but you still might play it, you know.
Well, I mean, you're playing it. It's the same deck, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
same
mean,
deck, I guess.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's more heavily you want it more heavily in white
Yeah.
than in blue.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the commons. Air Marshal, one generic, one blue, human soldier, three generic, target soldier gains flying until end of turn, and it's a 2/1.
Yeah, this
Um,
is pretty good in the
yeah.
soldier deck. 3 mana is not a lot. It's pretty easy to just pay 6 mana, give 2 things flying, and then just kill your opponent
Mm-hmm.
with the little extra flyers in the game.
Yeah.
2-1 again. It's an okay stat line. It's pretty kind of weak in this format. I think there's enough like one ones to punish these things, but the upside on this card is.
Are there a lot of 1/1s in the early game though?
I mean, there's a few.
Yeah. Okay.
There's also
So
like a 0/3, and all of the mill value cards, like the 1/1 for 2 in green, or the 1/1 flyer for 3, like mill 3 draw a
yeah,
plains or whatever. Like
just straight
it will
body
punish these
this.
effects. There's enough
Yeah.
value that 2/1s I think are bad, but the
Mm-hmm.
upside on this card is so high that you want one of these effects in your soldier deck.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a late game mana sink, because obviously this is probably better than the Glorious Anthem effects on the land and on I forget what the white common was, but it could also activate to give your stuff +1/+1. I think it was Paratrooper, so this is probably a bit better at pushing damage through and enabling good attacks. It's just the body is kind of meh, so I don't know, like 2.5, maybe 3.
Yeah, you want one of these in your soldier decks for
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah,
and
you want
probably
one and maybe,
not necessarily two.
yeah,
Like they're bad in multiples,
exactly.
but
Alright. Combat Courier. One generic, artifact creature construct. Two generic, sacrifice courier, draw a card, and it unearths for 1 blue, and it's a 1/1. Uh Kinda neat. What do you what do you think of this?
you want to discard this card. You don't want to cast it, but
Mm-hmm.
you will be okay with casting it. Like it's, I mean, another card that just punishes the 2/1 stat line. Probably the best card to punish this 2/1 stat line.
Yeah.
Uh, and like I guess if it trades with the white 2/1 that makes a battery, that's not even that good, but it's good enough. But more for the most part, you want to unearth this for free value.
This is
And
like
there's other,
the robot in Rick and Morty that exists to spread butter. Like,
yeah.
don't want to play it.
It's I mean it's I mean you're playing probably in the right deck. You're playing like 3 or 4 of these.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well,
But
like
but
you don't want to cast it, is what I mean. Like
yeah, yeah.
like the magic term. The
It's the
rules term of play.
grease.
Yeah.
It's the grease. It's especially good when discarded to Urza, the uncommon Urza that
True.
mills. It's red has a small discard theme as well to go with its prowess, I guess.
So we're feeling a solid 3.
I mean, 2.5. I guess if you
2.5. Well, I don't know if you want to play 3 to 4 of these. Like,
well, you're not playing 4 of these. That's just too slow. But I
is
mean,
it
in the
though?
right deck, I guess you would play 4 of these. But it's not like you're not like it's expensive. Like a comparable card is there was maybe in AFR, I forget what this is called, had a 1 blue instant investigate and then flashback for 4 investigate, and that card was like investigate twice, and that card was pretty bad because
Mm-hmm.
like paying 3 mana to draw a card is a lot.
It's not great.
Like
Yeah.
like this draws you a card, but it's like 6 mana for draw 2, which is not super good. But 3 mana for draw 1 off of an earth effect is pretty good filler.
Yeah.
It's good off of like Philology Archaeologist, the mill cards. So I mean, the more ways you have to enable this, the more you want these effects. But I mean, you can't just play it on its own.
Yeah, it's not generically powerful.
Yeah.
All right. Curate. One generic. 1 blue. Instant. Surveil 2. Draw a card.
Yeah,
How are you
hit
feeling about
Courier off
Curate?
this. I don't like impulse effects, like with the
Yeah.
3 cards draw a card, but I love surveil effects. So anytime you're milling cards,
Mm-hmm.
like this pushes it over the top. If you have unearth effects, combat courier, it's very good. This is also just a card draw for the draw 2 theme, which you need basically every card draw. So this card will be a staple in blue red prowess, in blue black draw 2, and any color with unearth themes.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good in blue
Like
green
soldiers, like blue white, maybe
or
even blue
soldiers.
green. It's more of a curve filler there.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean card selection's always solid. You can always play one of these in basically any deck, but like this is way better than any other impulse, and this is a good format for it. So you could play 2 or 3 of these. I could see and be happy with it in the right decks.
Alrighty. So 2.5, 3.
Yeah, around there.
Alright. Oh, now we have Depth Charge Colossus. 9 mana, artifact creature Dreadnought. 9/9, doesn't untap during your untap step. 3 mana to untap it. And has prototype for 4 generic, 2 blue, and it's a 6/6 there. So now we're starting to see some common prototypes.
the first prototype of the first Power Stone payoff, I guess.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks the untap clause is actually an upside. Because,
Yeah, cause you can give it vigilance for 6 mana.
yeah, if you have, well, yeah, if you have 9 mana, then this is it's an upside. If you have 6 mana, then it's a downside, right? If you cast this as a 6 mana 6/6, it's
Yeah.
pretty rough. 6 mana 6/6s have been playable in formats.
Oh, for sure.
Usually, you want some upside. I think this is probably a good format for 6/6 because you have 2 Power Stones. You're gonna be hard pressed to get this out on turn 4,
Mm-hmm.
but you might. But you could reliably get this out on turn 5. But if you can get this out on turn 4, then it's solid. But then the untapped clause becomes super awkward. Kind of need at least 2 Power Stones for this to be good.
Yeah. Like
So I wonder.
this card's looking way better in like blue green, and in outside of that, like outside of
Yeah,
Power
this
Stone heavy decks, this card's just really not looking great.
yeah this is one you'll have to play to really to see how smoothly the Power Stone stuff works. I'm not
Yeah.
as confident in the Power Stone stuff being that smooth.
I,
But
I I
when
could
it
agree with that.
when it is smooth, it will be really good.
Yeah. Um, two
Also,
2.5
play
like generic rating. Oh yeah, go on.
like 2, but play disenchant and just blow your opponent out. Just
Yeah.
disenchant this.
Yeah. Um, I think it might be like I've definitely boarded in very bad 5/5s and 6/6s in blue in like best of threes where sometimes you just need a big unit to block stuff. So keep that in mind, but yeah, not
Yeah,
not great.
I mean that untap clause, it's so expensive. So if you only have 6 mana, like it's really bad.
Oh
But
yeah,
then
it's awful. It's awful in a normal game.
so
Yeah. All right. Desynchronize for generic, one blue, instant, target non-land, permanent's owner puts it on top or bottom of their library. Scry 2. This is just like an upgrade on Totally Lost, right?
yeah, well, upgrades. Strike 2, I guess, is better than it's good enough that the opponent having a choice uh is it probably slightly better than totally lost, but not as good as you'd think. Sometimes you totally lost like a 2 drop and you're happy with it. Whereas if you desynchronize a 2 drop, you're not anywhere near as happy,
I
right?
guess,
Because
yeah.
you put a bad card on top of their deck, uh, you're fine with that.
But
It's
like,
almost better to put a bad card on top of an opponent's
for
deck
sure.
than a good card,
But how often are you
especially if you
spending
can
5 mana to put a 2 drop? Like out of 10 times. How many times are you
like
totally losting a 2 drop?
2 or 3.
Yeah. So that means 8 or 7 times this is going to be better.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Well, that is how
Like,
you have to evaluate cards, right? Like you can't just totally focus on
sure.
the two or three times out of 10 where you're like, oh yeah, this is worse than Totally Lost. But like if you put Depth Charge Colossus on top or bottom, right? Like, and it's blocking your team.
I mean, I'm a cruel man. I will totally lost a 2 drop 3 turns in a row and just win the game like that. So maybe it's slightly worse in multiples than totally lost, but pretty niche. Scry 2 is a lot,
Scar 2 is
as
a
we
lot,
said with
yeah.
prison whatever. But 5 mana is also a lot.
Yeah. It's
I
a
like
medium card though, I'd say, right? Like you might want one of
usually this
these in your
card
deck.
is usually this card is seen at 4 mana. I think you have to
Oh
play it.
yeah?
This format is pretty starved for removal, though. So you have to play it. It's instant speed. If it
Yeah.
was sorcery, it'd be probably trash, but it's instant speed. Gives you a little value on the back end. Answers 9 mana, 9/9. So if you're gonna play it, it's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
It's just fine removal.
Yeah, you probably don't
Like
want too many of these.
2.5 to 3.
Gonna have to three.
There's a lot better.
Philology Archaeologist. One generic, one blue, human scout. When this enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. You may put a non-creature non-land card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. If you don't, put a 1/1 counter on Philology Archaeologist. 0/3. You may put a non-creature, non-land card from among the milled ones into your hand. Okay, so this is like artifacts, instant
Augur
sorceries.
Bullets.
This is Aquabolus was such an awful card, even in decks where it was set up.
Even when, yeah,
Yeah, having
this
a 20% fail rate in your 50% instant or sorcery deck is like so awful.
this is the one that's gonna fail the most. But a 1/4 is like fine, I guess, if it fails. Like a 1/4
Yeah,
is a lot of stats
that
in this format.
that's a horn turtle, right? Back in my day, we paid 3 mana for horn turtles.
Obviously, you don't want this to miss, and it's gonna miss the most of all of the cards.
Yeah,
But I guess you're fine
it,
if it misses. Like this is the one you're also the most fine with if it
I,
misses.
I
Like
I do like the payoff for the miss, right? Even like 1/4s are way better than 0/3s.
it's core in the prowess deck.
Yeah, it's
There's a
fine in
funny.
Unearth too, right? Because it is milling. So
It hits artifacts, which makes it better than augur, I guess. Quite a bit better in theory, but I mean, it also hits enchantment removal.
pardon.
Uh, it also hits enchantment removal, so that puts it a little bit, makes it a little bit better than like blue white. And then there might be some bombs that it hits. I guess I feel like you almost always. I feel like you're just always playing all of these cards.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like if you want these cards, you're kind of weirdly priced into them.
Yeah, like Mill 3 is good enough.
Yeah, so
Mill 3 1/4 is good enough.
2.5.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
solidifies blue as pretty defensive.
for sure.
I guess it's the worst of the mildews though.
All right,
But we'll see.
Koilos Rock, 4 generic, 1 blue, bird, flash, flying, enters the battlefield, makes a tap power stone, just to refresh you on what a power stone does. It's an artifact with tap, add a colorless. This mana can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. 3/3. What are your thoughts on this, Taurus?
Man. Sometimes 5 mana for a 3/3 flash. Some formats this card is good.
Yep.
The power stone is really easy to get. It is an instant speed artifact trigger, which I don't think is that relevant, but it's cute to have.
It's something, right?
I
It's
don't like outside of the 3/4 flyer for 5 and white. Uh, like this is the biggest flyer there is outside of that, like in common levels
yeah.
and stuff. So we'll see if the format is so fast that you just can't play a 3 mana 3/3 flyer for 5. I
Hmm.
don't think it is that. I don't think it's going to be that fast. I don't think it's the slowest format in the world. Like prototype might make it look like it would be a slow format.
Yeah, it's not Rise of the Eldrazi, but
But
because white looked aggressively viable.
white red looks aggressive. Yeah. Uh, I mean,
I
this card has to be
I think the Power
playable.
Stone's pretty like how do I say this, marginally significant because it works on activated abilities, right? So being able to turn on Air Marshal or Paratrooper, or whatever stupid dork you have laying around with an overcosted activated ability, being able to turn
It,
that on a little easier while doing other things could be
it's
very
good as a
thin
sack
value.
outlet
For
in blue black. It's good with there's a common aura that's coming up that's just a make a 4/4 draw card. It's good with this. I think it's probably better than it looks. I think it's one of the better versions of this card,
hmm
and I think it's the one of the better formats for this kind of effect. I think you should be fine. You
oh,
should be pretty happy with
I
this.
love 5 mana flyers.
Like you can
They're
play 2 or 3 of these if in the right in where the power stone's relevant. You just clog up the board with like some if
some
like your full
shitty
IP or
1/4s for
archaeology.
2, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I have no idea what other defensive cards there are, but like clogging up the board and then using this to to bump you up to your top end or to give you some value off of blue black sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. And then you'll just hit them 7 times with this and win the game.
Also being able to keep up desynchronize is kind of a cool in quotes combo. Sort of like, oh, what could they
Yeah,
have?
not irrelevant. Like I'm pretty sure I played a format with Totally Lost and
Yep.
a 3/3 flash.
Yeah.
That's
I think
why.
there was a core set with Totally Lost and yeah,
And there are a couple decent counter spells you can also hold up with this.
for sure. All right. So what, 3? Are we filling a 3?
I'm gonna say a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
L-
be higher on this than I normally would be.
cool. Latnam Adept, 3 generic, 1 blue, human wizard. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on Latnam Adept, and it's a 3/3. So we got a Hill Giant that's already power creeping the hell out of Hill Giant. And
Dude, Hill Giantess has been creeped out a long time ago.
yeah, Hill Giant's washed.
This is gone. This isn't 1999 anymore, dude.
Oh, it is in my heart. It is in
I
my
know.
heart. There's the saga came out only a few weeks ago. This seems very
Uh,
good in Demir, right?
very good in Demir. Probably good enough for blue red prowess because that
Mm-hmm.
deck should have enough extra card draw line around. And then probably unplayable in any other color combos. But it is one of the better payoffs for that mechanic.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't take much to make this a 4/4.
yeah, and honestly, a 4/4 for 4 is like really big.
Uh
A common and an
well,
uncommon. Like white had 1/4/4, and then all their other 4/4, like they had a 4/4 and a 4/5 at 5, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so.
So it's bigger. It's bigger than a lot of stuff. It's bigger than a lot of things at 4 too.
Notably, there isn't a lot of balance in this format. I guess there isn't a ton of ways to punish this. I guess the biggest issue is like it dies to the prison. You're playing blue. It's a pretty good prison target, but I mean, uh, you're gonna play. It's pretty easy. I think it's pretty easy to activate
Yeah.
this effect. So you're gonna play this in every blue red and every blue black deck. You're not gonna play it in any other deck really.
Yeah, and honestly, like
Like hard
punishing
drives.
this, like you do want to draw cards usually at some point, right? Like turn 5,
Yeah,
paying some mana to draw cards, not bad.
yeah. I'm gonna call this a 2.5. You have
Okay.
to build around it a little bit,
Yeah.
but once you get it, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's not even broken. It's not even broken.
No.
It's pretty good, and that will sometimes
Hey,
take you
pretty
to
good
the
at common is pretty fucking good. Like
yeah.
if it's outclassing other commons, like I don't know what more we could ask for, right? This isn't a Kaladesh limited where if your opponent touches you with a thriving creature, it's all over.
The game is over.
Yeah, thank God. Alright,
Or it
machine
never
over
happens.
matter. 1 generic, 1 blue, instant. Counter target. This spell costs 1 less if you control an artifact creature. Return target online permanent to its owner's hand.
At least it hits your own stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
seems really good.
this is format dependent. I think
Really.
it's. I think the format is so starved for interaction that I think this is good. It's not too hard of a condition to hit, but like blue or white. White has really good. White has arrest, right? So or
Yeah.
whatever prison sentence. Like you're gonna blow up prison sentence like all the time. And then there are a few effects like the format's so starved for interaction that I think you just have to play one of these.
Yeah,
But
well,
I don't love playing unsummons for
it's
two.
more
Like
dispersed,
two is a
right?
lot. Yeah.
I think this will cost 1. I'm gonna go out on a limb more often than not.
Not as much in blue, but like it's better in blue white soldiers because you're making a bunch of artifact tokens. But blue alone, like blue black isn't gonna have a
Well,
lot
I
of
guess blue
artifact
green,
creatures.
blue white, blue black, and blue red are gonna be harder, I guess. But like, Izzet probably still wants us at 2, right? Just because
I mean, it's just gonna play it because
it's a big
yeah,
tempo swing and it's an instant.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like yeah, I guess I agree. Like you want at least one of these. Two starts getting a little
Yeah,
iffy.
uh, sometimes these effects get stuck in your hand.
Yeah.
So having two is pretty rough, but I'd probably always be happy with the first one. But it is significantly better at 1 mana than 2 mana, and it's not always guaranteed to get it at 2 mana.
Alrighty.
But you're gonna play
So
it.
so what, like 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5.
Cool.
I feel like I was too generous with my ratings in white. Like, gave a lot more threes than I should have. Usually, when I think of a three, it's probably closer to 2.5, but I'm gonna say 2.5. You'll play one in probably you'll probably play one in like half your decks. Probably not even all your decks,
Hmm.
but you'll side it in against white a lot too. So
Yeah.
maybe that's enough.
Alrighty. Might Stone animation. 3 generic, 1 blue. Enchantment aura, enchant artifact. When this enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted artifact is a creature with base, power, and toughness 4/4 in addition to its other types. So this is like in Soul Artifact, but 4/4, and you get to draw a
Outside,
card.
this is another reason to play Machine Over Matter because blowing out your opponent's
To play what?
Machine Over Matter, the bounce
Yeah,
that we
true.
just looked at. I think this is where you want to be with Power Stones. Like this is what you want to cast on turn 4.
Yeah,
If you hit this onto a Power Stone that you made on turn 3, it's a 4/4 haste, right? Because the Power
yeah.
Stone.
It loses summoning sickness.
So 4/4 haste, draw a card.
Yeah, I guess
Gets
if keep track of your power stones, because some power stones will have summoning sickness and some won't. So
I mean, very rarely. I guess you'd have to
hey,
make
it
a Power
happens with
Stone on this in
lands.
the same turn.
You would not believe how many Koth mountains I've seen animated with summoning sickness. Like,
It's probably more common with Koth than this, but yeah, okay, fine. Pay
yeah,
attention. You're right. You're
yeah.
right. This takes a little bit of work and also makes me never want to block that 2 mana 2/1 that when it dies makes a Power Stone token.
True. Yeah. It's just like, what am
Uh,
I unleashing? This card seems like potentially really solid, right? Like
yeah, it's a deck definer. Like this will
yeah.
make a deck. It's the glue that like if blue green is a deck, it's because of this card. It's not because like
Mm-hmm.
prototype is the thing. Like this gets you to your 9 drop.
Yeah.
You know.
But this also has like backdoor applications even in blue white, right? Because like if it just has like a naturally high artifact count, right? You're just slamming this on 4 and making a big,
Sure, even turning like a random soldier token into a 4/4
yeah,
draw
like
card is fine.
the Yodians, like the uncommon one, or even the
Yeah.
crappy card drawer combat courier, right? Like randomly upgrading that might be fine.
Oh, holy. Yeah. That's on Combat Career. That's terrifying. It just becomes a 4/4 double striker.
Oh no,
Dude.
the combat courier is the draw card one. Like
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
yeah. No, sorry. No, I'm thinking of a 3 mana
The
1/1
the
double
the, the
strike draw
prototype,
card.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Play
boy.
that. Play this. Win the game, I guess.
Yeah, GG
Hope,
no re.
hope your opponent doesn't have double strike and you don't even get blown out because you draw a card. So
Off each of
yep.
them, right? So it's just like mana tempo you're losing.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's
That's
all
terrifying.
right. So
That's a
are you
combo.
gonna give this a 3 and you feel it's too low later on, or are you thinking a
I'm
little
gonna
higher
give
than
this a
3?
3.5
Three and a
to
half? Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential with this card.
4. Like this will make the deck that it makes. Like it's the
Yeah.
glue that binds it together for sure. I'll play it a lot.
Alright, Retrieval Agent, 3 generic, 1 blue, Human Soldier, 2 generic. This gets +1, -1 until end of turn, and it's a 2/5, which is a really high toughness value.
Just thought it can be a 6 one
Yeah, it can be a 6/1 if you
if you
spend
have infinite
enough
mana
mana to make a down
and your
payment on a
opponent doesn't block.
house. Yeah.
Give
Uh,
this flying, I guess, and then pump it.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, it's a very good late game mana sync with Or is it Air Marshal? It is a soldier.
This might see play in like blue-white flying soldiers.
Yeah, I think it's very good there, actually, just because 5 toughness
Just
is going to
jumps up
be
the board.
massive. Like,
I don't really love it outside of that. Sometimes you just need a
yeah.
2/5 for 4. I
Well,
mean,
the
I
cool
think the
thing is
5,
no one else is picking this, right? So you'll get it.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
5, I've been pretty impressed with 5 toughness in most formats. I think a lot of design nowadays puts 4 power as like the sweet spot, and 5
Yeah.
5 toughness. Like there's a 0/5 wall for 3 in Dominaria United that just stops everything. So maybe this just does a similar effect. But that said, I'm not. I, I'm never looking for this card, and I
Yeah,
probably the worst 4 drop to be
yeah.
casting. But sometimes you just need it.
Yeah, I think it's a good role player, but yeah, like pick real cards over this and you'll get
Yeah,
it like 13th pick. So
yeah.
two
Give
out
it
of
a 2.
5. Yeah, 2, but
Give it
keep
a
it
2.
in mind. Uh
Sometimes you need it.
yeah. Scatter Ray, 1 generic, 1 blue, instant. Counter target artifact or creature unless its controller pays 4. So real efficient interaction here.
It's just counterspell, right? It's just
It
four. No one has 4 mana
it
lying
all
around.
yeah, like mana leak is very
No,
hard to get to a point in the game where you can just quote pay for mana leak.
yeah,
4 is
gains a
big.
lot of value from
I
wrecking prototype.
I guess the only kind of annoying thing might be if you're playing against the like a really good prototype Power Stone deck, they might be able to pay for the 4 with Power Stones if they read you on this, but that seems so niche and
Um,
narrow.
yeah, I guess it's yeah. Power stones do pay for this.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just like a very minor interaction to point out.
I guess so.
Um
Still 4 is enough.
Still,
Like
yeah, it's huge. Like 99% of the time this is getting there. Like
yeah, if your opponent has 3 power stones on the board, you're probably losing anyway. So
I am I too high saying like 4?
probably too high saying 4.
4?
Yes.
What? Wow.
Like 3. I think
3?
you're replaying this
3?
card.
I think that's way too low.
No.
Especially if you think a 3 is really a 2.5. Oh no, man. Like,
I like a real 3. Like 3 is like you're still playing this card.
all right, so we'll disagree on this one. But
I think it hits every bomb too, which I guess is good. But
yeah,
the
yeah,
power
yeah.
stone drawback
Hitting
is
bombs
real.
tends to be really good and limited. Last I checked, not
Hitting
losing
like
to Seraph Angel.
the power stone drawback is real, I guess. Like it does
It can
make
be,
it a
yeah.
worse top deck. It makes it a pretty rough top deck, yeah.
Well,
But I
again,
mean,
it depends at what point of the game, right? Like, it might not even
you'll,
be a bad top deck, but
you'll play 1 or 2 of these
all right.
in most blue decks.
Stern
So
lesson. Hmm?
I'm high on Stern Lesson.
All right.
This is the card you want to be doing. This is the thing you want to do on turn 3.
2 generic, 1 blue, instant, draw 2 cards, then discard a card, create a tap power stone. Yeah, this
Just does everything. It gives you the draw 2 on your opponent's turn, which is nice. A nice
mm-hmm.
treat. So, yeah, unlike
Especially when you're
curate.
keeping up 5 mana for your Drake or your bounce spell. Now you have this.
Curves very well into the 4/4 draw card
Yeah,
and
it's
jamming.
perfect there. It
I don't think the format is so fast that you can like. This is one of the few formats where I think you can skip turn 3.
mm-hmm. Well, the cool thing about this is you get the mana rebate too. So, like, even though you skip turn 3, your turn 4 in theory should be a lot
Yeah,
better than the average turn 4 when you skip a turn 3.
yeah. If you play this into a 5 mana artifact, you're doing pretty
You're
good.
you're golden. Yeah.
You're doing
Even that
pretty
4
good.
or 5 white artifact that gains you 2 life when it comes into play, it's like, that's not bad.
Yeah, depending on how fast the format is, there might be no limit to how many of these I would play.
Mm-hmm.
I think the more power stones you get, the better they become. Like each Power Stone gets a little bit stronger than the next. I kind of feel like
Yeah.
because then you can start doing shenanigans. Whereas one Power Stone is just like, it's gravy. But if you get three Power Stones, then it's like, okay, we're doing something. We're casting 9 drops, and I like casting 9 drops. It's fun.
9 drops, yeah. It's you don't get to do it often in Magic. So
Yeah.
what's your rating for Stern Lesson?
I think it's 3.
3?
You're gonna play them. You're gonna play it. It also enables prowess. I mean, it's like the perfect filler card. Like not not filler, but it's the perfect glue card. Blue has a lot of these good glue cards where like
Yeah.
they don't have the payoffs, but they have the
They show up, they work the 9 to 5, they never get written up, never cause any problems.
yeah,
Yeah. Alrighty, third
yeah.
path, Savant. 2 generic, 1 blue, human wizard, 2/3, and for 7 mana, 7 power stoned mana, you get to draw 2 whole cards.
I mean, if that 7 mana effect is good in this format, then
Yeah, then this format's actually just gonna be Rise of the Eldrazi. That's
then it's slow. I mean, you only need to activate this one time to like
kind
push it
of
over the edge.
chain away, right? Because then you're gonna make another land drop, then you're gonna have a little more mana, then you'll be able to do a small thing while activated again, then get another mana source, and then make a slightly bigger play, and you're drawing 3 cards a turn. And when you take a break, you're just doing a lot of strong actions in one turn. So yeah,
The existence of this card makes me want to play the +1/+0 for strike in gem and in white more,
military
just because
discipline.
like because if they play this and they brick my 2 drop,
Hmm.
like, and also I just want to kill this thing. Like I don't want it to be around forever.
Yeah.
You will eventually lose to this. Like it's this kind of effect, or like yeah, this kind of effect will take over some games. So
So what's the rating
uh,
on it?
like 2.5. I
Two and
think
a
it's
half.
fine. Like it's a solid blocker. It doesn't really go in a lot of decks that you really want it to go into though.
Yeah, like you might think like, oh, this is a wizard. It might go into blue red powers. No,
No,
no.
definitely not. Goes in blue green, I guess. That's the goal. It does not go in blue black. Blue black doesn't need this at all.
Yeah,
Doesn't go in blue white.
not at
Although
all, right? Like,
there might be like I know blue white. It's signpost is soldiers. It looks like it's soldiers, but I think there is a very heavy top end blue white deck, and that leverages power stones. And I think and this would go in that deck.
yeah.
Like there's definitely more than one blue white deck in the format, and I could see this going into that deck.
All
So
right.
blue white, blue green,
So,
but it's still just filler at the end of the day. It's just a
yeah.
3 for 3, which is fine. Blocks a lot of things, and then sometimes wins you the game.
Okay. Urza's rebuff. 1 generic, 2 blue, instant. Choose one, counter target spell, or tap up to 2 target creatures. So, you know, cancel with an extra thingy.
Cancel with upside.
Yeah. I think this
I
is
think
a
this is like the
fantastic
best.
card, right?
This is the best limited variant of cancel with upside. I
Yeah,
think.
because
Like a,
tapping 2 is like like blue white soldiers, right, or blue white skies. Like this is the perfect thing. It's like, okay, the game's wrapping up, the last turn, tap 2 things, alpha strike, Or if the game's still going on, just keep up mana, counter a bomb, carry on, right?
yeah, one of the problems with counter spells and prowess decks is that they don't enable your prowess triggers
Mm-hmm.
when you want them to.
True.
Although that's less of an issue with like Iconoclast, where you can just play it and leave up a counterspell or something. But like the fact that this has the tap clause, which is essentially 3 mana win the game, like when you're using it.
Yeah. Or
Uh,
maybe very depressingly, 3 mana try not to lose the game on the turn they're attacking with 2/6/6s.
yeah,
In
I mean,
which case, things have
all it
gone
has to
wrong.
do is all it has to do is win you a race.
Yeah,
It's a weird combo of effects though. Like you're never playing a 3 mana tap two on its own.
for sure.
But I mean,
For sure.
and then you don't technically want this in the same deck as you want prowess. But I mean, I still think,
It's a classic split card situation, right?
yeah,
Like
still
both aren't great by themselves, but together it's fantastic. And
it's
honestly,
also a bit
cancels I
hard to
think
cast.
playable. Yeah,
It's a bit
blue
hard
blue.
to cast. Cancel is sometimes playable. Like it wasn't playable, or it wasn't as playable in Dominaria United, but it's
Yeah,
been playable in several other formats.
yeah.
Uh, I'm I think this is a solid 2.5.
2.5. Yeah, in draft, I could kind of see that. In limited, in sealed, right? I would rate it higher, but
Yeah, and sealed, sure, you're playing this
yeah,
just because
like
you need something to deal with their six rares, their
yeah.
six on color rares.
Alrighty. Weak Stone's Subjugation. One blue. Enchantment, aura. Enchant a artifact or creature. I really wish they found a way to include that line of text in the types, just so I don't know. When this enters the battlefield, you may pay 3. If you do, tap enchant a permanent. Enchant a permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. How are you feeling about this?
This is worse than prison sentence by a lot.
By yeah,
Doesn't turn off activated abilities, which is not super relevant for commons and not. Well, actually, it is a little bit relevant. Like it doesn't turn off third path savant, for instance, and it's like super relevant for a lot of bomb rares where that have abilities.
yeah.
1 mana.
One man is kind of nice though. Like it,
Like this is like
obviously they
runic.
already got to attack with it, probably.
This is
But
like runic shot, which was pretty good. Which
what's
is
runic
just
shot?
1 mana. 1 mana sorcery, you destroy a tapped creature with like a scry upside
Yeah,
with blue if you pay the kicker. So I mean, if you compare it to Runic Shot, like this is pretty good. Like, you probably just have to play it because it's removal. It's a 4 mana removal, which is good enough. But man, black just scares me. Like this kind of effect just gets so much worse in sacrifice against sacrifice decks. Like,
for sure.
um,
Yeah, like when
what was there was the D&D set that
village
had
rights or deadly treasure, or like
deadly treasure. It
yeah
was the
the
D&D set with the
yeah the
black
two
red
mana
sacrifice thing.
sacrifice a creature or artifact, draw 2 cards, create a treasure token.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like black red sacrifice was like the best color combo in that set,
yeah,
and it made these kind of effects unplayable.
yeah.
And I'm really afraid that we're going to be in that same situation. So
Mm,
again, these effects do get better in best of three because you can side them out, but
yeah,
this is a lot worse than like the white version because not being able to turn off their abilities means you're not going to be able to prevent the 2-for-1s like in black, and you're not going to be able to shut down some very relevant effects. So,
for sure. So what's the rating? 2.5.
um, yeah, I guess so. Like,
Tentative 2.5. See how the format plays out.
yeah, like if it turns out like blue green is the best color combo, which I don't think it is, then this gets better. But if it turns out that white black is the best color combo, well, then this is just unplayable, like actual garbage.
Turning off a Power
So,
Stone for 1 mana actually kind of feels like that'd be
oh, that's the
that could be a nice line at some
oh,
point. Just
I guess
like
so. Yeah,
yeah.
like the trigger can be paid by with power stones, right?
No, no, I just mean like you put it on your opponent's Power Stone, and you're just like, this is now
Should
Lotus
have you've
Petal.
lost the game if you've done that.
I don't know. You could be mana screwing them.
No, no, don't do that.
It
Never
happened.
cast this many power stone. You will lose the game.
Heard it here
Do not do
first.
that. Do not do that. Get out of silver. Don't. If you want to get out of silver, do not play this on a power stone.
I'm
Uh,
sure. I'm sure it'll be a line at some point in a game.
however, you did remind me. Yes, this is a trigger, so you can pay this effect with power stones. So I guess there's a slight upside to it.
Yeah.
Probably not good enough to push it over the edge. I'm
All
gonna hate
right.
this card.
Wing Commando. 2 generic. 1 blue. Human soldier. Flying prowess. 2/2. How good are Windrakes plus?
Pretty good. This
Pretty
card is
good.
gonna make me play a lot of curates. This is a good bread and butter for blue-red prowess. And it's good enough in, I think, blue-black tempo
Seems good in
stuff.
blue-white too, because it's a soldier, flyer.
Yeah, it's a soldier. I mean, you're not gonna get prowess as much in blue-white, but
Well, like, you just more want a flyer or a soldier, right?
yeah,
Do not really.
it's just a 2/2 flyer, which is fine. You're gonna play this in every deck. How often are you gonna like? When are you picking this? Like pick 4 or 5, maybe. You're not jamming this instantly, except in the blue-red prowess deck where you're probably playing all of them. Every single one you see, like if it isn't removable, you're playing a
For
2/3
sure.
flyer.
So, 3?
Yeah, we'll give it a 3.
Okay. And we have a bonus common in blue, Coastal Bulwark, 2 generic, artifact creature wall, defender gets +2/+0 as long as you control an island, 2 generic tap, surveil 1, look at the top card of your library, you may put that into your graveyard, and it's a 1/3. So this could be a 3/3 in most blue decks, right?
Yes.
That's how the rules work. So
I think it's. I mean, it's yeah, sure.
if you're severely color screwed, right?
That would be impressive if you played like 3 of the colorless lands, and then
Oh
you
yeah,
have to cast this off of like there's like a colorless land that surveils or something.
that'd
No,
be
it's a
funny.
it's 3/3 defender in blue, which is a lot better than a 1/3 defender outside of blue.
Yeah,
And you're in any 2-color deck, it's pretty easy to turn this on.
for sure.
And then it has Scry 1, which a 1/3 defender Scry 1 for 2 is borderline playable in any deck where the surveil, not Scry, surveil is
Relevant,
useful in
yeah.
your
And
like when
obviously
it's in your
combos with
graveyard.
Unearth, right? So a little bonus value there.
Yeah,
So so
conceivably playable
so what's your
in
ranking for
green black.
this? You sound very 2 or 2.5 about it.
Yeah, 2 or 2.5.
All
We'll
right.
we'll see how the format plays out, but I'd probably play it in any blue deck with graveyard synergy
Mm-hmm.
and side it in against aggro decks.
Yeah, for sure. Like 3/3s for 2 are hard to attack through on the ground.
It might actually just be bonkers late game.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All right. Defabricate. Now we're moving into uncommons. 1 generic, 1 blue. Choose one. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. If a spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it in its owner's graveyard. Or counter target activated or triggered abilities. So we have annul or stifle put together. How are you feeling about
stifle, you
this?
can you can stifle unearth triggers, I guess.
Yeah, for stall the.
For pseudo value.
Well, they get to redo it again, right? It's more of a tempo play.
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, because it
Oh,
would
that's a
just.
cast effect. You can just exile the unearth creatures just
Yeah.
straight up, right? You just
Is that how on Earth
counter the
works?
artifact.
Let me scroll up to return this
Oh no,
card
no,
from your
you're right.
battlefield from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, so you're not casting it.
Yeah,
It gains haste. So if you
yeah,
stifled if you countered the ability, it would just be countered. The thing wouldn't be exiled, so they could repay the unearth cost. And obviously, depending on what they're unearthing, that could be a lot of mana, or it could be 1 blue.
correct. But I guess you can stifle your own unearth triggers when at end of turn,
Um,
right?
if it's um if it's surviving to the end step, yeah. Because if it
Yeah.
dies in combat, I'm pretty sure it's a replacement effect. So you can't
Right. Yeah.
stifle
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. The exile.
But at
The,
the end
the
of turn
exile
it'll
clause
go on the
itself.
stack, right? It'll be
Yep.
like exile this and then you could hit that. I'm
That will probably never come up. One time out of
one time.
20,
Yeah.
it'll come up. Maybe.
It's free to know about and keep in mind though, It costs 0
I think this
mana.
card is probably very good at sideboarded.
Isn't this like just like obviously like I would say this is worse than disenchant because it's way more time sensitive, but
Yeah,
still
significantly worse than
significantly
disenchanted.
worse, but still like Disenchant we're very high on. So it's like it's still like I'd say probably medium plus.
I would probably play one of these and no more.
Interesting. More medium minus. So are you giving this a 2.5 out of 5 or where are you going?
Yeah, 2.5,
All right.
maybe 2.
Maybe a 2.
Depends. Maybe, but like you could definitely side in like 2 of these, but it's an uncommon, so
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with playing this as a one of, but I wouldn't pick it very highly. I think I would rather have the common that just counter target artifact or creature, just because having the creature upside
Yeah, for sure. I'd rather
is
have
better.
that. But
The fact that this turns off unearth, I honestly don't think unearth is a huge deal.
no.
But
All right. Flow of knowledge, one generic, four generic, one blue, instant. Draw a card for each island you control, then discard two. So what on average you're drawing 2 to 3 if you play this on turn 5, then discarding
yeah,
2,
which would be terrible.
which is awful, right? That's way worse than what's a stern lesson, right? I'd much rather have a stern
However,
lesson in the
I'm
lake.
fairly sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can't play this outside of monocolor decks.
Yeah.
Like, don't. But at on 5 mana for 5, draw 5, discard 2 is pretty good.
Yep.
It's maybe a little bit undercosted or underperforming at that rate. But
Yeah,
then
it's still
any
kind of
any
thin.
extra any extra island you get after that is going to be bonkers. And I actually do think that there are monocolor decks in this format, specifically in like blue might be the best one.
Hmm.
Black gets corrupt out of the mix, and green gets Blanchwood armor, which is really risky. So
Well, white
I
has
don't
swords
think
to
I would ever do
plowshare.
that. That's not a mono payoff. You can just play that. Like
Yeah.
this is a literal dedicated deck. There's an uncommon Steel Exemplar, which is a 5 mana 4/4 that if you pay no color, like if you only pay one color of mana for it,
Hmm.
it's a 6/6 trample for 5, which is insane, which is huge, right? It's if you don't answer it on the spot, it's just gonna kill you in like 3 turns. So the deck plays Steel Exemplar and Flow of Knowledge and fills in the your colored requirement, your second color cards with just colorless artifacts. And you're casting this on like turn 7 to draw 7 cards and discard 2. You're
You're
basically
winning. You're
winning the
winning.
game.
Yeah. You're
So
either
I do think
winning
there,
or like dirtling into the grave, right? Like,
yeah, I do think there's a yeah, I think there's a mono blue deck and I think there's a mono black deck in the format. And I guess this is the best payoff for the monocolor stuff. Also, drawing a bunch of cards is good because you can play lands and then cast giant prototype cards that you'd be normally would be splashing. Like you'd play an off-color prototype card
yeah,
to fill in your requirements.
to fill out the late game. And I guess if you're playing Flow of Knowledge, you might also be playing Stern Lesson. So like you can actually have a few more like higher end unplayables. Like your curve could be like unplayable, but like since they have so many discard effects, like catalog effects,
Yeah,
you're just
so
tossing them
it's
a little more liberally.
it's a dedicated like prototype ramp deck, I think, for Flow of Knowledge. And then you're playing like every like 1 mana enchantment, weak stone subjugation to like catch you up, and you're playing 3/3s for
Yeah.
3/3 defenders, and you're just this is gonna be a deck. It's not gonna be a deck you play a lot of the time, and you kind of want to have 2 flow of knowledges to make it really work, and probably
Hmm.
some steel exemplars. But in the deck, it's a 5 out of 5
Yeah.
in the deck that it's good in,
But it's like
and then
a
and then it's
1.5 outside of
yeah,
it or a 1.
0. It's a 0
Yeah.
or a 1, sure. Yeah, maybe you can get away with playing like an 11 uh, island
Yeah, 11
six
6 land split.
six or something like that. But then
Yeah, and you think of it as a 6 drop, but like yeah.
it's probably just not good enough at that point.
All right, moving on to Forging the Anchor. 2 generic, 1 blue, sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of artifact cards from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in A random order, not in any order, in a random order. Very important.
Is that important?
No, I just
Okay.
it's just how they switch between these wordings of like random or ordered. Kind of annoys me because I personally think it's more annoying to randomly order two cards that go on the bottom of a deck
No, there's nothing
than
worse
pick
than
them.
watching a person try and figure out the correct order of 3 irrelevant cards.
I got yeah, I guess there's no winning. Like it's
It doesn't matter. It's pretty marginal. Just shuffle your cards. It's not that hard.
yeah, but people are awful at shuffling. They have terrible hands.
This card's terrible, but now I want
Really.
to play a Flow of Knowledge Forging the Anchor deck where you play
And you put your
19
two flow of
artifacts.
knowledges on the bottom of your deck and you just cry.
Whatever, but then, oh, yeah, okay, sure. That's the worst. Like if you're
It'll
playing,
happen. You know it'll happen.
if you're playing like, so you're looking at 25% of your deck, right? No,
Yeah,
wait,
10
my bad.
artifacts, 25%.
No, wait, no. You're looking at half of that. 1/8 of your deck.
1/8 of your deck.
Well, like a seventh, I guess. Wait, no, a sixth. Maybe it is a sixth. Why is this math so hard? Because by the time you cast this, you've drawn 3 cards, so you have 30 cards in your deck. It's a sixth of your deck. So you want to have your deck be probably at least half artifacts,
Yeah,
you know.
for it to be like a divination that's
So you need like
reasonable.
12. You need like 12 artifacts. I guess if I'm playing,
If you have 12 artifacts, you're 30%.
if I'm playing
That's
19 artifacts, if I'm playing 2 Flow of Knowledges, 2 Forging the Anchors, and then every single other card
all
is
right.
an artifact.
Let's abort this stupid dream. Realistically, this card's not hitting a lot of
It's
artifacts
a
in a normal
zero.
deck,
It's a
right?
zero.
Yeah, this
It's a zero, but I'm gonna meme it. But
okay.
don't ever pull
Moving
this
on
card.
to Hulking Metamorph, 9 mana. You may have Hulking Metamorph enter the battlefield as a copy of an artifact or creature you control, except it's an artifact creature in addition to its other types, and its power and toughness are equal to Hulking Metamorph's power and toughness. 7/7. Or it's a prototype for 2 generic, 2 blue, 3/3, so it's a clone. Um,
Clone of your own things. It's
Clone?
it's no Phyrexian
Yeah,
Metamorph, that's for sure.
true.
There's
You
not a
control.
ton of
Actually,
great
no, it's
ones.
just worse than clone too, right? Like clone, you clone their bomb, and you're like, hooray! Now I have a
Yeah,
Shivan
yeah,
Dragon to block your Shivan Dragon.
yeah. And also it
Um,
makes it 3/3, which it's kind of a downside.
it's kind of weird. You can't pick. Like because I've been playing a lot of Runeterra, and with effects like this, the way they word it in the game is it grows to a 3/3, right? Or so it's like sometimes if you're hulking metamorphing theoretically a bigger thing, right? I'd
Could have
rather
just made it mutate. Why can't they just make this mutate?
yeah, the cleanest of mechanics.
I don't. I despise the double blue in this cost.
Yeah, it's actually double colors and costs are actually not like as consistent as people think they are. Um
And I
like a
don't know
quarter
what
of the time roughly, you just might not get there. Maybe more a fifth of the time, but like just that's kind
I
of
don't know I don't know what this copying that's like really good. Like I guess a 2/2 flying prowess. Any flyer, it's really good.
sure, yeah.
Sometimes you'll copy a power stone for more mana.
Yeah. So how are you feeling on this card? 2.5? 2?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I'm playing it in every prototype deck, and
Yeah.
probably just playing it.
I'm not
In any
playing this
fly,
in like blue white
I'm playing
skies
it.
or
I'm playing it.
soldiers.
No, I'm playing it in blue eyes guys for sure. Just because
Yeah,
it's
I
reached the
guess,
fire
right.
before. It's
Yeah.
just fine with random upside.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe just having a hill giant with good keywords and good text is like good enough.
Yeah, I mean, like even
Or
copying the 2/2 vigilance,
yeah.
like it's a 3/3 vigilance that gets stronger.
I think this is a kind of weak uncommon, but like if you just compare it to other card like the other commons, right? It's fine.
Yeah,
Fine plus, yeah.
yeah. I'm not high on it, but it's fine. You're gonna play it index. It's like 2.5, whatever. It's fine.
Alrighty. Involuntary countdown. 3 generic, 1 blue, sorcery. Tap up to 2 target artifacts and or creatures. Put 2 stun counters on each of them. Bracket. If a permanent with a stun counter would become untapped, remove 1 from it instead. Close bracket.
That's a lot of
Ah,
that's a lot of stun counters, man.
that's a lot of stun. That's two untap steps. Those things don't get to untap.
It's roughly the same as an instant tap with the same clause. This card is playable in the prowess deck, and I think only the prowess deck. Well, maybe blue white soldiers.
Yeah, it might be a good sideboard card too. Like it's great in races for sure, just because it's you know it's kind of it's like sleep.
If
It's
you're the aggro deck, sure.
well in races, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're both beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Two
This is
point
fine.
five, 3.
Two,
Yeah,
2.5.
2.5. I'm feeling 3 personally. Like maybe I'm a sucker for these effects. At least one of
Yeah, I'm skeptical of the format.
fair.
Like it's real. I think it's really good in blue red prowess,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just okay in
Yeah,
blue
yeah.
white.
It's more mediocre. It's more middling in blue white.
And then you're just not playing it in the other blue decks.
Yeah. If you were playing it,
That's
things
why.
went wrong.
That's why I'm not on a 3. Like you're not playing this defensively, but it is very
Not
good in the deck
happily.
that it's good in.
Yeah, not happily. All right, Keeper of the Candance. Candance. I'm gonna say
It's
Candance, even though it's
it's it's
mega
it's,
wrong.
it's cadence.
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 There's no end there.
Cadence.
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 Cadence. Stop it.
Cadence.
Cadence.
4 mana for generic, 1 blue, human wizard. Put target artifact, instant, or sorcery from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Not randomly, in order. 2/5.
Yeah. So you order your perfect top decks when you've
When
milled
you're milled
yourself.
out, when you've
I don't think blue is milling that fast. It
that was sarcasm. That was sarcasm.
hoses on Earth and the graveyard stuff.
True. Yeah,
5 minute.
but when you're spending 5 mana for a 2/5 and then 3 mana, like, are you really the one hosing Unearth, or is Unearth hosing you?
Yeah, this card is bad. You will
Two,
sometimes,
2 out of 5.
very rarely play it. 1.5, 2, sure.
1.5, yeah. Alright. Splitting the Power Stone. 2 generic, 1 blue, sorcery. As an additional cost to this spell, sacrifice an artifact. Ooh, I'm getting Tinker vibes, I'm getting Tinker vibes. Create 2
Yeah,
tap Power Stones if the sacrifice artifact was legendary draw card. I have lost my Tinker vibes.
this is not a good card. It's a 0. Do not sack a Power Stone to this because you could get 2 cards and you can draw 2, discard a card at instant speed, and
Yeah.
get the same effect.
Stern lesson. Let me just scroll up to it. Is the better version of this card, unless
It,
like
I mean, like, if you play, there's like a 2 mana common artifact that ETBs draw a card. It's still not good if you sack that to this. You just,
yeah. This
I mean,
is more of a
it's
constructed
honestly, it's not
card, I think, right?
terrible.
Like,
God, maybe that would
well, it's
be.
not even good and constructed, but at least you get the card draw clause more reasonably. Like, I don't think there are legendary artifacts in this set you want to sacrifice, so this line of text here is just not really relevant to limited.
Wait. Can I play this in blue red? Threaten? Can I threaten their artifact and then their artifact creature and then sack it for? Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
happening.
yeah. You're starting to take Rakdos's color pie unlimited with this, for sure.
I'll play this card.
So are you
0.
feeling a 1? You're 1? 1,
Feeling
0,
a 0.
0?
0.5 because there is some deck that I will use it,
Yeah.
but 99% of the
Well,
decks will use it.
if they weak stone subjugation your power stone, you can really get them, you know.
Yeah, don't do that.
Spotter Thopter. Say that 10 times fast. 8 mana. Creature, artifact, Thopter, flying. When this enters the battlefield, scry X, where X is its power. It's a 4/5. Or for prototype, 3 generic, 1 blue. You have a 2/3. So 4 mana, 2/3 flyer, scry 2.
Not
Very,
terrible.
very fine. Very serviceable. Like,
Not
not,
terrible. Not great for what it is,
yeah,
but not
like,
terrible.
very medium. And for 8 mana, a little over costed, but, 4/5 flyers will beat people to death. So,
So for 6 mana, this card would be pretty good, right?
6
Six
mana,
mana for a
yeah.
4/5 flyer.
Yeah.
Scry 2. So the way I look at Power Stones is it kind of, it reduces the cost of these big artifacts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're the this thing on turn 4 is never going to be relevant off of Power Stones, but I think you can probably get 2 Power Stones by turn 6.
Yeah. And
And
then it's looking
at that point, this card
pretty
is
good.
pretty good. Like
Yeah.
Scry 4
Very solid.
is worth a card for sure.
Yeah.
It's, so at that point, it's a good card. So this probably slots in perfectly in blue green, some blue white decks,
Yeah. Just for the prototype
and,
part, but
probably no other decks. And in my
no.
mono blue draw 8 deck,
It's
start.
probably really good in blue green just because it's very fine even on like turn 3 or 4 because it'll help set you up if you're missing any key stuff because like Scry 2 might help there if you don't have like the great hand. So,
Yeah,
and then, but it's also
uh,
an end game payoff. So,
2/3 flyer blocks most of the flyers in
yeah.
the set too, or most of the early flyers.
Hmm.
None of the more expensive flyers.
Yeah. I just think
Like
blue
this.
green will use the Scry 2 effect better than most of the other color combinations.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick this card highly because it just doesn't go in enough decks. But the decks that it's good in, it's pretty good in. We'll give it a
So,
2.5.
2.5? Alright. Take flight, 3 generic, 1 blue, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchant a creature gets +1/+0 and has flying in. Whenever this creature attacks, draw a card. I kind of like this. I don't know if I'm right. I
Yeah, the format just doesn't have enough interaction to punish you, so I think this card's very good. Like you're always getting the card. It doesn't have to hit.
Yeah, it's
So
not like
it's
curiosity, and it gives the thing flying. Like it's everything you want. Like you want flying, you want the curiosity effect, but it just needs to attack, right? So it just
very very solid on like the 2/2 vigilance, I guess. In a racist situation, like if you're desperate,
mm-hmm.
good on any giant monstrosity you end up making it. If you top deck it, you can make it
Yeah.
7/7. Just give it flying and just
Medium
smash
in
them
the
into play.
prowess decks, right? Just give a random dork
I mean,
flying, hit him for some damage, draw a card.
probably
Like
higher than medium. It triggers
yeah,
prowess,
yeah, that too. So
draws you a card, and
it's just
gives you
forced
flying.
kind of a bit. Like that's your turn, but it seems like a
That's
good
fine.
use. Yeah,
As long as they don't have removal on the spot.
yeah.
I'm gonna give
So
this card a 3. Like this is
3
one of the like I hate auras because of the blow up
for
potential, but
sure.
the format doesn't have a ton of instant speed removal. And it's usually you can play properly to make this good.
Yeah.
And in a blue white deck, maybe you leave up the hexproof indestructible or something to protect your stuff too. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give
Alrighty.
this a 3. I think it's good.
Moving on to Thopter Mechanic. 1 generic, 1 blue, Human Artificer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a 1/1 counter on this. When this dies, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. It is not a soldier, it is a Thopter. And has flying. Not
Yeah, that's
flying.
weird.
2/1. Your favorite stat line.
Yeah, well, we'll call it a 6/5 in 4 turns.
Yeah.
Now, the floor on this card is good enough that you're going to play it in every blue deck anyway. Like just trade in with another creature and having a 1/1 flyer is fine.
Yep.
It takes like one activation is a little hard to get, I guess. It's not crazy. but the payoff for one activation is not that great. Like a
Yeah, it's
3/2
more
is
the
much better
second.
than a
The 4/3
yeah,
is when it gets good, right?
if you can get 2 of these activations, then all of a sudden it's a great card.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's weird. You're not gonna get sucked into blue, but I mean you're gonna play this card over most commons, I think, and it is a pretty good
And I
kind of
think
blue
it
black
goes in
archetype.
almost all the combinations too, just because, like,
I'd be less happy with it in blue white or blue green, I guess. But yeah, you're still playing it in those decks.
yeah.
But it's very good in blue black, and then it's probably quite good in blue red as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
So, out of 5, what do you give this?
probably 3 to 3.5, yeah, somewhere in between there.
Alrighty.
Like you're playing it in every deck, and then it makes the blue black deck very good. So yeah,
Urza, Power Stone Prodigy. 2 generic, 1 blue, legendary creature, human artificer, vigilance, 1 generic tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you discard 1 or more artifact cards, create a tapped Power Stone token. This ability only triggers once each turn, and he is a 1/3.
this might be my favorite uncommon in the set. And for some reason, I want to give it take flight to make it a 2/3 vigilance, so it can block, draw cards.
Yeah, that's the dream, just
This card's great. This card's a 4. It goes in literally every deck, and then the upside is like sometimes crazy, like creating tap power stones, discarding a crappy artifact creature
or unearth artifacts.
or
So
not
it's like
unearthed
you're not even
artifacts.
losing value necessarily.
1/3
Gaining
is
value,
good
yeah.
enough to block
Yeah.
most 1 and 2 drops, so you're fine there.
It can even block some of the anemic 3 drops.
And yeah, and then the upside is just like bonkers. And the fact that it instant speed it enables all of your draw 2 stuff is
Yeah.
super good. So it goes in every deck outside of blue white, I guess. Well, outside
Yeah,
of
and
blue
in
white
blue white
gold,
it's like
but it goes
it's
in
a
blue white on Earth. So
yeah, it's
which I
like a bad merfolk looter, right? And even a bad merfolk looter is not the absolute worst. So
yeah, I mean this card's great. 4 to 5.
4 out of 5. Alright. Is Zephyr Sentinel, 1 generic, 1 blue, human soldier, flash flying. When this enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature you control to its owner's hand. Ooh. If it was a soldier, put a 1/1 counter on this, and it's a 2/1. So 2/1 flash flyer. I'm getting rattle chain vibes right now. Uh
Yeah,
a
that's
little
fair
worse.
comparison.
Little worse, but can be better. I think this card's great. Like,
Is this the
maybe not
best?
broken, but
Is
like,
this the best soldier? I don't know. Maybe.
yeah, like,
It's weird.
honestly,
Blue
just two
soldiers
one
are not.
flyers for 2, like Vulcan turns are, I think they're looking pretty good in this set.
Oh my god! Another reason to just not play prison sentence. Holy cow!
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not feeling prison sentence
Well, it is
anymore. I know
uncommon. It is uncommon
the card.
though, so it's not going to be
Yeah,
ultra
but the
common.
fact that blue has this plus boomerang plus.
Well, at least with Boomerang, it's a trade, and probably your up tempo. This is just the blowout, though. This is
I mean, it's designed to be a blowout, but yeah, it's perfectly serviceable on. Like it's one of the better soldiers on turn 2.
yeah,
It's fine, and then you have random upside value. Doesn't work with Unearth because Unearth exiles when they leave, no
yeah,
matter what.
yep.
So don't try and get tricky. But outside of that, it's fine. I guess it's a 3.
Alrighty. Now we move on to the rares. Drafna, founder of Latnam, 1 generic, 1 blue, legendary creature, human, artificer advisor. Activate ability, 1 generic, 1 blue, return target artifact you control to its owner's hand. 3 generic tap, copy target artifact spell you control. The token becomes a copy, and it's a 2/1. So when it copies a spell, does that mean it has to be on the stack to do it? Or
Yep,
can it?
it has to be on the.
Yeah,
It has to be on the stack.
yeah, because once they're in play, they aren't spells
Well, I mean, if
anymore.
it feeds itself because you can return your artifacts. It's
Yeah,
very slow and expensive, but I mean, it's inevitability. You will win the game
yeah. Especially,
eventually with this.
yeah, just if you have enough mana and time, you can just keep bouncing the same thing and copying it.
Is it
Um,
enough for me to play blue if I open this pack one? Maybe.
I think we'll know in like a week or so, right? Because we kind of really need to see how fast the format is. But
Yeah, it's really slow. Very
because
good with power
if
stones.
it's
Really,
slow
really slow.
and power stones, power stones are medium to good, then this is approaching a bomb. But if the format's like
And
kind of fast and decisive, saying draft and sealed, I think this is like you will probably play it. Like you'll play it if you
yeah,
can,
sure.
you know. Um,
Yeah, it's somewhere between a bomb and just a 2-1 for 2
yeah,
with random
with random
protection.
effects. Yeah, I don't know. I'm giving it a 4 personally. I anything
That's
with
fine.
bomb like potentials, I'm gonna rate high.
I'll try it. I'll first pick it. I'll probably regret not
Yeah.
taking like the black removal spell for over it, but it might be good enough.
Fortified Beachhead we covered in the White Review. Just to give it a quick rundown, it's good with soldiers. The activated ability, very good. The set has no mana fixing, so the mana fixing is also very reasonable. Like, it's a very
Fine.
good card, I think. Like, even just like having Coastal Tower. Like, if you have no soldiers, tap blue white
Better,
land.
better than a bunch of the soldiers, but not better than all of the
Yeah,
soldiers.
and like maybe even pickable in just a blue white non soldier deck too. Moving on. Geology Enthusiast. 3 generic, 2 blue, human artificer. At the beginning of your end step, create a tap power stone. 6 mana, draw a card and put a 1/1 counter on Geology Enthusiast 2/5. What are your thoughts on this 2/5 for 5?
5 is good enough. That's enough stats that I'm okay with tapping out on
Yeah,
turn 5.
very durable.
You get your power stone at end step, and then you win the game eventually in like 3 turns. It's a bomb. I'd first pick this and push towards blue.
Yep. Yep. So 4.5, 4, somewhere 4.5 maybe.
Like 4.5 to 5, I guess.
Yeah, higher than Drafna.
Drafna.
Yeah.
Yeah, by a lot.
Yeah.
A lot higher.
A lot
I'm
higher.
not high on Drafna, but
Like you don't have to do anything to make
yeah,
geology enthusiasts work. I think that's the important part.
yeah,
Like you play it, you get a stone. If they don't kill it, you will tap your power. Yeah, I guess that's the one thing to point out. You tap the power stone to activate the ability, right? So
yeah.
that's what makes drawing
They
the
actually have
cards
something to do
easier.
with the mana,
Yeah. All right.
and then it will just get big.
Hercule, Master Wizard, 1 generic, 2 blue, legendary creature, human wizard, advisor. So this can go in your persistent petitioner decks. At the beginning of your end step, if you've cast a non-creature spell this turn, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. For each card type among non-creature spells you cast this turn, so like if you play an instant, a sorcery, and an artifact, that'd be 3, you may put a card of that type. Oh, never mind that. Of that type from among the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in your library in a random order. 2/4.
5 cards is enough that it's almost always hitting, so this card's a bomb. Four and a
Ye
half out of 5.
4.5. I might go a little lower, but not by much. Just because double blue, a little bit of a bitch on turn 3. Um,
You gotta work a little bit for it. I mean,
yeah, and I think if you got Frank Carson to do the math, like if you play an instant, your deck has 4 instants, your odds of hitting that instant are kind of low, but you don't have to do much to make this work, though.
it's also just a 3 mana 2/4. I mean, the cost is a little
Exactly.
annoying,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's
I,
probably
I
one of the strongest 3 drops in the game just to
yeah,
come on
for sure.
stats
I just
for some reason.
I'm slightly pessimistic on the success rate odds, and
No,
someone at a
I,
pre-release is going to be complaining. It's
I
like, oh my god, I did this
I've
4
played
times and I whiffed, and it's like,
I've
okay,
played
that
Augur and
happens.
Bullets. That would be literally impossible, but I've played Augur and Bullets with like 6 instances and been happy with it. So like, I'll
Yeah,
play
yeah,
this card.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. but just like it's
I
not
mean, you're not
guaranteed.
gonna
Is
cast
all.
non-creature artifacts that often, and you're not gonna get like, enchantments. Maybe in blue-white, you're not gonna hit a ton of enchantments, but I mean, it's not that hard to make this work.
Yeah,
So
like I
it's
think
fine.
missing is like a very real possibility. Is what I'm
The
getting at,
floor is
right?
so
Like,
low. Like
yeah,
it's not gonna win the game on the spot, but the floor is so low that
sure, and
it's
it's
fine.
very low effort for that
I'll
payoff,
force
right?
it, and I'll play a lot more curates or something to make my instance better. Like
Exactly
who
right,
cares?
and you'll chain off and
But one reason I might play the 3 mana draw card gain life if I just need some more instants
oh
to hit.
yeah, yeah, the crappy white card. All right, moving on to Hercule's Final Meditation for generic triple blue instant. As long as it's not your turn, this spell costs 3 more to cast, so that'd be 10 total. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. End the turn. And end the turn means bracket exile all spells and abilities from the stack, including this card. The player whose turn it is discards down to their maximum hand size. Damage wears off, and this turn and until end of turn, uh, effects end. So this can be used as a counter spell essentially for 10 mana.
Spell for 10 mana.
For 10 whole mana, bounces the whole board, bounces on online permanent, so there's on his hand. I don't think this spell's very good.
Don't cast this
This,
spell.
yeah,
Don't put
this
this card
is
in your deck.
like
You'll lose the game.
this isn't like upheaval, right? Which I don't even know if it was good and limited, but that's 6 mana, return all permanents to their owner's hand. The reason upheaval was is good at saying cube, right? And in constructed was you would float mana, then you would make some plays. Uh and then you'd start like you'd both be at 0 lands or you'd make 1 land drop and you'd have something in play and your opponent would have nothing. This is just like bounce
It's pretty good
turtle.
for 10 mana though. Pretty good if you get 10 mana, which you cannot use with power stones.
True. Yeah.
No, this is
So
bad. Don't. This is 0.
yeah, like
You will cast this on turn
yeah,
on
I'm
turn
at
and lose the
0.
game.
Like I don't even really know where this would be good. And
0.
entertain it would be to encourage negative EV behavior. Moving on to Sky
I
Strike
entertain a lot of bad
Officer.
shit.
2 generic, 1 blue, human soldier, flying. Whenever this attacks, create a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature token. Tap 3 untapped soldiers you control, draw a card. This is a 2/3. What do you think
Sure.
of this above average Windrake?
Guess you play it in every deck. You don't
Yeah,
need to be soldiers for this to be good.
yeah. He kind of makes his own soldiers, and then
It's
they can
fine.
start drawing cards.
First pick it.
Yep,
Don't force soldiers because you have it, but I guess value soldiers slightly higher.
yeah. Um, 4 out of 5, maybe
4 out of 10.
5.
4 out of 10, not a 5. I guess.
Like if you play
Eh,
one other soldier,
maybe
right? Like you're starting to
maybe
draw the
4.5.
cards.
Maybe you're
Yeah.
right. Maybe it is like maybe it's so good on curve.
Well, it's a 2/3 as well, right? Like they couldn't even give us the decency of making it a 2/2 so we could trade. Like it is just bigger than the Windrakes as well. Like yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless, this is a bomb. Pick it, play it, have fun.
Drop more blue cards because of it.
Yeah. Taurisian oh, and it's only 1 blue too. Yeah. Moving on. Taurisian Mindbreaker, 7 mana, artifact creature, Juggernaut. Whenever this attacks, defending player mills half their library, rounded up, 6/4, and it has Unearth for 1 generic and 3 blue.
That unearth cost makes this card unplayable in the unearth decks.
Yeah,
And milling like
is
1 mil half is not good enough.
yeah, and also might help your opponent by giving them Unearth
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah. And
So
the six damage is not relevant on the unearth effect.
yeah,
Maybe you'll end up like yeah, I don't know.
I'm giving this like a 2,
Yeah,
maybe.
2 is fine.
Yeah, because it's
You're never
still
actually killing people with a mill fight. Or you might, but like pretty rough. I've played against. I've had half my deck milled a lot of times in limited, and I almost never lose when that happens. But
Yeah,
usually they don't have a body to back it up. Usually it's like 6 mana.
yeah. The
They'll have your
problem
deck.
with a 6/4 is like 4 toughness is relatively killable in the late game, right? You can double walk
Yeah,
with
by
two two
turn 7.
twos. Like this isn't some giant unstoppable creature threat, right? It's very murderable. So yeah. Moving on
I
to
mean, the
the
second trigger is whatever.
yeah.
Just could kill you, but
Moving on to the Temporal Anchor, 3 generic, 3 blue, legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 2. Whenever you choose to put one or more cards on the bottom of your library while scrying, exile that many cards from the bottom of your library. During your turn, you may play cards exiled with the Temple Anchor.
this card makes me mad
How's
because
that?
it's a set with Surveil,
Yeah.
and then it has this random Scry 2, so none of the Surveil works with this. But it's still just a 6 mana draw 2
Yep.
every turn.
Which is pretty good.
I guess.
Well, like Future Sight's normally been pretty good in limited, admittedly different time era, but I don't know. Like it's kind of a insurmountable advantage if your opponent starts drawing 3 cards.
Yeah, 3 cards is just too many to beat. At 6 mana, which you can cast on turn 5 off of 1 Power Stone. Like triple blue is a little rough, but that's enough to skew 10-7.
Yeah.
I would absolutely skew 10-7 for
Yeah,
this.
I'm gonna yeah, the triple blue is a bit rough. I'm still this is probably a bomb. Like,
It's probably a 5 in this format. I
yeah.
don't think the format's fast enough to punish this
Yeah.
that badly. As long as you get 1 Power Stone, it's
hmm
probably a 5. 3 cards is just too many.
Underground River.
Yeah,
Land,
that's a good.
tap, add colorless, tap, add blue or black, take 1 damage.
Sure.
Good. Not
It's
like
fine.
it's not a bomb. The won't win the game, but mana fixing's fine. I'm not assigning a number to this. Moving on to Ursa's command. 2 generic, 2 blue, instant, choose 2. Creatures you don't control get -2, -0 till end of turn, or create a tapped Power Stone token, or create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. And lastly, scry 1, then draw a card. Uh very easily, the third mode, very important in this set. What are your
The fact that
thoughts?
they come into play tapped is probably fair.
Yeah.
That would be a bit much.
Wait.
That
You
construct will get.
just randomly ambushing your opponent's 2/2 units that are attacking. It's like, oh, they're tapped out. Let's and murdered.
I think the best mode is make a construct, draw a card.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're gonna fog your opponent.
Sometimes they'll power stone. Like
Yeah, it's
like the
third
third
card.
mode's the best one by far. And then
It's like a it's like a 4 out of 5.
yeah, I could honestly see this even being a little higher, just because like
Well, it's not. Not. It doesn't win you the game usually. Like the fog
while screwing over alpha strikes can be game winning.
can be,
And the fact that it's just attached onto your threat is kind of stupid.
but I
Like,
mean, like just making a 4/4
mhm,
draw card for 4 is not. It's not a game breaker, right? Like
true.
it's not a 5. It's not.
Um,
It's like where Temporal Anchor will
well,
win you the game.
it scales, yeah. Temple Anchor will win, yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Where
going to
Temporal
5.
Anchor wins you the game. It's not
Yeah,
a 5.
yeah.
I mean, you could rate it a 4.5. But I'm gonna rate it a 4. Like it's great.
Yeah, I'm more going 4.5. I think it has too much
It,
versatility
it
at
doesn't.
every point in the game.
It has less versatility than you think because of the tap clause. It's just a fog and a creature, or a creature and a card.
Or a creature in a power stone.
Yeah,
Like,
whatever.
like I think they're all relevant.
I'd rather have a card than a power stone every time because a card can just be an artifact. But sure,
um, the
sometimes
it really
sometimes
depends.
they'll curve out.
Well, yeah, if I
Sometimes they'll
have
play this command into Temporal Anchor, and you'll be like, "Whoa, I'm the best player in the world. You
yeah,
can't
well,
beat me."
ramping's kind of stupid in blue
All
while
right, maybe
making a
I'm
unit.
underappreciating the power stone. Probably
Yeah,
better in
like
constructed.
they're all relevant and limited, right? But which is why I'm rating it very high, because normally that shit's just a little too pushed. Anyways, it's a rare. Moving on to Arcane Proxy, the first mythic, 7 mana, artifact creature wizard. When this enters the battlefield, if you cast it, exile target instant or sorcerer with mana value less than or equal to Arcane Proxy's power from your graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast that copy without paying its mana cost for 3, so 4 mana value or less. And for prototype, it's 1 generic, 2 blue for a 2/1. What are your thoughts on this artifact Snapcaster Mage?
It's like fine, pretty good actually.
Yeah, I'm just doing a
Draft,
quick
draft,
scroll
draft,
through blue.
draft curates higher.
Machine over matter is kind of maybe not even a slam.
It's not really a limited card, but I mean it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a 2-for-1. It's a 2-for-1 with a good tempo swing.
Like
Better in prowess. But whatever.
3.5,
Sure.
somewhere in that range.
Sure.
I don't think it's quite a bomb. I think like it becomes a bomb in like narrower decks. So
I mean, it's 2-for-1. Whatever. It's fine. It's not crazy or anything.
speaking of crazy, Blade Coil Serpent X 6 generic artifact creature serpent. When this enters the battlefield, for each blue spent to cast it, draw. For each 2 blue spent to cast it, draw a card. When this enters the battlefield, for each 2 black spent to cast it, each opponent discards a card. When this enters the battlefield, for each 2 red spent to cast it, it gets +1/+0 and gains haste and trample until end of turn 5/4.
Perfectly adequate.
Perfectly adequate.
Perfectly.
Perfectly
Sounds
adequate.
great.
This is
Great mono blue, mono black.
well,
If you're
it's
blue red is fine. Trample and haste is a lot.
yeah,
You could skew
like
your deck a little bit more blue with this, but
yeah, more blue
don't
than
be
more
wrong.
black. Like it's actually tiered how you kind of want to do it too, Like it's kind of coaching you like do blue first, then black. Lastly
The card,
red. Red's fine, but you
the
know,
card pretends to work with power stones, but it doesn't. Well, it's got X in its cost.
yeah, it like the X only serves to give you more procs of
Yeah,
the triggers, right? Which is
I mean,
weird because I've noticed WotC really doesn't like making these kind of quote feel bad or unintuitive designs. But
you do what you gotta do.
yeah,
This card is good enough as a 6 mana 5/4 draw one card. Like if your mana gets really messed up for some reason, but you're always getting a 3 for
but
1 for this. So who
yeah,
cares?
right.
Play it.
Like I
You
don't
will
know,
always
like
3 for your opponent.
four,
That's a 4.5.
4.5. Yeah,
4.5. Sometimes 5.
moving on.
Very, very close to 6 mana win the game.
Yeah, one with the multiverse, 6 generic, 2 blue enchantment. You may look at the top cards of your library, the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library, so like Future Sight. And once during each of your turns, you may cast a spell from your hand or the top of your library without paying its mana cost. So you get 1 instance per turn of Omniscience.
Yeah,
This
8
is
mana is too much for this.
8 mana.
It's too much. I don't need a free spell at that point.
It's yeah. I don't know. It is. It is unfortunately a non-artifact spell, which is, as I've been told multiple times during this set, a thing Power Stones can't cast.
Yeah.
So that's like really hurting its position, right?
Yeah,
Because
you don't actually get good ramp in this format.
yeah,
So you're not really hitting 8
yeah.
mana
Well, and that's
like
partially
in
why
that
like
sense.
Temporal Anchor got a good rating. Obviously this is too
Yeah.
cheaper, but Power Stones can ramp it out too.
Temporal Anchor is just better than this card in every way. Like I'd rather have 2 cards a turn than a free spell on. Well, I guess.
No, this is like if they
I
were
mean,
just in
yeah,
play,
okay.
right?
You
Yeah,
can go pretty wild with this, but who
yeah.
cares? Whatever.
Because like
Don't.
playing spells from the top of your deck can get kind of silly sometimes.
Yeah, you'll lose to this card, but I don't think you should play this card.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm, g-
I'm
I'm gonna give it a 1.
gonna give it a 1. I would,
Very defensive deck might be able to slug this
yeah,
out.
1, 1.5, somewhere in that range. Not a 2. Not a 2. You don't just put this into decks.
No.
Alright, moving on to Surge Engine. 2 generic mana. Artifact, creature, construct, defender. 1 blue. This loses defender and gains this creature can't be blocked. 2 generic, 1 blue. Surge Engine becomes blue and has base power and toughness 5/4. Activate only if Surge Engine doesn't have defender, so you need to play the first ability. 4 generic, 2 blue, draw 3 cards. Activate only if Surge Engine is blue, and activate only once, so you need to activate the second ability, and it is a 3/2.
I would go blue. I would first pick this and go blue for this card. It's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, 3/2 unblockable.
Pretty good. Wins the
That's
game
that's
and
that's
pretty fast.
pretty, yeah. And
You
it's
just
it's good early. It's good in the
you
mid
just
game. It's good in the late game. Like,
sometimes you're just gonna activate this turn 3 and then activate this turn 4 and then just kill them in
yeah,
2
just beat them
turns.
to death, right? Like a
Like
5/4 unblockable. Like,
I don't know if you're ever drawing 3 cards off this card. It's that you're killing them that fast.
yeah, like maybe if it's whatever that blue doesn't untap thing is. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I don't know.
Blue
This is what, a 4, 4.5.
for 4.5.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess 4.5.
and
Dice removal, I guess. Okay, but
lastly,
otherwise, wins the game.
Teferi, Temple Pilgrim, 3 generic, 2 blue, Planeswalker, Teferi. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on Teferi. 0 mana, draw a card. -2, create a 2/2 blue spirit token with vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. And -12, I'm sure it'll come up very often. Target opponent chooses a permanent they control and returns it to their hand. Then they shuffle each non-land permanent they control into its owner's library for loyalty. What are your thoughts on this Planeswalker, Taurus?
Limited, I actually just want to minus this every turn and then cast Stern Lessons. Something like that.
Fair?
Whatever. I mean, whatever. This card's a 5. It's a bomb. You probably can't lose. Probably can't lose if you're casting this and have one creature to block.
Yeah, like if you untap with this, the game's over.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so do we have any closing thoughts on blue?
I think blue is the best support color.
Okay.
It really feels like blue is the best secondary color. It doesn't really do anything on its own.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a lot of cards that like fit into your curve well and just do some generic magic things kind of decently, like Stern Lessons, Scatter Rays, I guess a little pushed.
Curate, just
Yeah,
drawing more.
Archaeologist is just like a really good curve filler.
Yeah.
Curate's like the definition of a curve filler.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Incredible support color. Yeah. That's it.
So, if you enjoyed this VOD, click that like button. If you want more card game goodness, click subscribe, and we'll see you for the Black review probably in a day. Adios.